I don't think we need headphones because we just talk to each other, so it's all right. So let's make sure everything is working. If it's not working, if you can't hear us, then someone signify something. I don't know. Can I hear us? Is it working? I can't tell.
Someone usually says hi.
Someone usually pipes up and says, like, if you can see. But it looks like everything's working. There's little things on the meter.
Yeah.
So I guess let's just talk as though everyone can hear us loud and clear.
Yes.
Hello everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to our Psychonaut live stream. I am Rob.
I'm Rachel.
What should we talk about? It seems like we've got there's a lot of stuff that we've been up to.
Cheers.
Oh, first we're having drinks first.
Non-alcoholic this time.
Why are we drinking non-alcoholic drinks, Rachel?
Because I'm an anticoagulant.
Yeah, come closer to the mic, sweetheart, and so we can talk. So what's been going on with us? One of the things is that Rachel has had heart surgery, which is probably a lot more alarming than it sounds.
Well, technically it's not surgery because it wasn't like open surgery, but the procedure would be more.
You had a heart procedure.
Yeah, but it still sounds gruesome as fuck.
Yeah. So Rachel's kind of means that she can't do anything naughty for the next
3 more weeks.
3 more weeks.
Two and not I'm counting.
Yeah. So while I'm getting ripped to the fucking tits on DMT, you're just watching me.
Sober as a judge.
Yeah. Just watching me fucking scream and pound on the walls and
drinking my rose lemonade.
Rose lemonade. Cheers, love.
Cheers.
And I'm drinking a delicious Coca-Cola.
I'm not wearing my Coca-Cola top today.
You got your NASA top, so that's sponsored by NASA. That's even better. Anyway.
NASA and BZN. This is actually very nice.
Good, I'm glad you enjoy it. So, apart from like heart surgery, what's the topics we should talk about? I mean, we'll come to like the questions and stuff at the moment, but I think probably the big thing worth talking about is this little device
Which
here.
I haven't been able to try yet. I'm most jealous about it.
But you've been able to watch me.
It's great that just watching you and not be able to join in. It's awesome.
So yeah, I think I'll probably want to try and weave a little bit of a story here because we'd not done DMT in a while.
Yes.
And it wasn't because we're just like super avoiding it. It was just we'd done DMT. I think more in like ayahuasca and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we've done ayahuasca recently.
So we'd kind of been doing less of the smoked DMT and more of things like ayahuasca. And then whenever you're doing something like ayahuasca, you have this kind of lead up to it and this diet into it. So in terms of smoked DMT, it's probably about 18 months, 2 years or something.
2018 summer was the last time I did it.
Right, I think I did it a little bit later than that, didn't I? But yeah, so then my old mate Minty, who I see lurking in the comments, sort of told me about this wonderful solution that you could get a DMT breakthrough in one try, in one hit, because I think part of the anxiety that around DMT is just the stress of smoking it, isn't it? Because you have to do this 3-hit thing, and it's like, I don't know, it's pesky, isn't it? You need to find a lot of courage.
Yeah, when you take one and you start like going halfway, you feel like you want to say, oh no, that's enough, and someone's gonna pipe there and say, come on.
Yeah, you take one hit and it's like, and then it's like, okay, no. How much more of this weirdness? And it's very easy to back out of it. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, having this thing where you just do it in one and it's kind of done.
And also the type, like with the pipe method and stuff, obviously someone else got to hold it for you, and then you've got to carefully put it down. I've heard stories of people doing it themselves and they just drop it on the lap and burn the lap. Mm-hmm. That's like you can just drop that on the bed and then the thing with this is, which is what I discovered today, is that just like the transition between normality and DMT world is just instant. It just happens straight away. So on the one side, you don't get this moment of saying, "Oh, is my heart in this? Shall I do it or not?" But the juxtaposition of the two states is fucking intense. Like it's. I look forward to finding out.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool, and it's it's
But for anyone who's interested in trying the solution, it definitely, it lives up to the hype. And I've had a few journeys into DMT world, including one just this morning, where like Rachel was doing some of her university work on the computer here. So I went into the bedroom and thought, I'll just have a little try on the thing. And then like 5 minutes later, I was just like banging on the wall going, just like complete.
I was like sitting here doing my uni work, I had the raps on the wall, I was like, oh dear, I better go and help her.
Oh no. Rob's fucking goofed it to his brain again.
I know what's going on in there. Oh, let's go and help him out.
What did it say? Was it just banging on the wall? Is that what it...
Yeah, I just heard bangs on the wall. I knew why. I knew you hadn't like broken your leg or something. I was like, he's on the pipe. Well, on the vape.
He's up his tits again.
Yeah, it's always at it. Like, I was sitting on
come in, like, got curlies in your hair. Yeah, you having a transcendent experience again, Robert?
So, like, really, literally, other day, sitting on the bed, I was fucking playing chess and just turned around and you were like, holding the pipe. I was like, what are you doing? I'm trying to play chess. I'm gonna go. Put it down.
But that's the kind of... it just makes it so much easier to get in there.
You made me lose a game, by the way. That's why I lost the game.
What, I made you lose a chess game?
You put me off.
What? Because I was too...
Yeah, you distracted me. I lost my horsey and...
Don't blame me for your shit chess playing. So that's the other thing that we've been up to. Is, we watched The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. So now Rachel thinks she's some fucking awesome chess player just because she's also a girl and she's also has problems with substance abuse. So therefore, Rachel's
Yeah, I literally did try to think I was her the other day. I had like 5 games going on at the same time, and then when I was waiting for everyone else to move, I was entering tournaments doing like speed chess, losing all the time, right? But I got 20 games going on at once.
But for anyone who's not seen that show and who has Netflix, check out The Queen's Gambit. It was a really good show. Really good. But yeah, this idea of like this girl who can take some sort of psycho. It doesn't.
It's a benzodiazepine.
Is it a benzo she takes? And then she's able to sort of like map out all sort of possible moves on the chessboard. And
I can really relate to that actually. Because I've had a extensive use of benzodiazepines, and in the beginning it does seem like they help like calm your brain down and get up the background clutter.
Some more clarity kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you do realise that when you taper off them, that actually that it's a lie. You actually are clearer without them. It's a false kind of.
So what's happening then when you take them then?
Well. You want the technical thing?
Well, no, I suppose I was just curious.
Well, subjectively, they calm you. They're an antioxidant. Oh, I can't say that word.
I tell you what, we're turning into we're not turning into a promotion of benzodiazepines, which we're definitely not. Yeah, we definitely don't want to shill too much for benzodiazepines.
They don't help you with chess. No, that's all we need to say. Better help.
Okay, so that's concluded then.
Yeah, it's not like the main drug we speak about on your channel, really, is it, benzos?
No.
Kind of the opposite. Not really a transcendent at all.
No, we want
the opposite.
Yeah, we want the consciousness expanding stuff.
No, you don't want to expand your consciousness. Right. What were we on about?
I think we were on about DMT. Okay. And we're on about all that because that's plenty consciousness expanding, and that's so. Anyway, I had an experience this morning, and
certainly did.
Yeah, it was.
Is that what you call it now?
I don't know what else to call it. I mean, it was one of those where I was shocked to come back into my own body, and I think I saw that when I was watching back the video because I was just kind of like going, like just. Yeah, just it was. I didn't know what to make of it, and I kind of I don't know, something visceral. It was kind of pulling out and making me want to make strange noises. It was, but it was good. I enjoyed it. It was all good fun. But I think I had a bit of a sort of a revelation in moments after that, so I'll waffle about that for a minute. I think with DMT, I think there's 3 categories of DMT experience, and so I think there's one where you get the super colourful imagery, and it's like very flat colours, but it's very bright, and you get the sort of like the archetypal images like I've got in the corner of the screen here.
Yeah, like an overlay over reality.
Yeah, and you get this kind of like it's that's kind of like one experience. I think then there's the one in the middle, which is where it's kind of like it's very. You feel like you're taken on a journey, either to like some sort of space station or to like some planet of alien pyramids or whatever, or crystal temples. You get that. So it's a thing of journey. And then you get the third one is like
that you just can't describe.
Well, the mystical experience, the one where you feel like you're in the presence of the divine or sort of God or whatever like that. And sometimes whatever happens will cross across these different experiences. But the one I had today was just purely entirely in that kind of world of like DMT math patterns, archetypal stuff, and it was like all the information in the universe just laid bare in front of me, and that's kind of I was like because when you see like an Indiana Jones movie or something like that, and like the bad guy, like in Raiders of the Lost Ark, like the bad guy's heads explode and shit at the end, because it's just like they've tried to tap into the power of God, like they opened the Ark of the Covenant, or in the Crystal Skull one, they try to get these aliens and stuff, and they just end up exploding. Even like in the end of the Matrix, Smith thinks he's dominated the Matrix, and then he explodes. He can't. I can't remember the reason, but it's always a thing that that's what I was.
An overload for the
system. Yeah. It's like two if you because I got away because I was just spectating that. I saw all of it was in front of me. I was like, okay, yeah, I could step back away from it, but it was fucking crazy experience. That's what I don't know. What else have we been up to anyway? I think the other main thing is I don't know how much you want to talk about, but in aspect of your recovery stuff.
Oh no, it's going pretty well. Since I actually checked when I was last on your stream. I think that was the end of September, and since then I've gained 2.5 kilos. So looking a lot better. So
for anyone who doesn't know what we sort of necessarily talk about, one of the things that Rachel's been working on for like quite a few years now is your.
You want me to say it?
I'll say it. Okay. I'll say it. I don't want to mansplain your womanly disorders. So, okay. So Rachel has anorexia. Is that okay for me to say?
Sure.
Okay, I've said it now.
I feel like when you're meant to go. Da, da, da.
Oh, you don't necessarily, you don't need to do a little song and dance about it. But anyway, the reason we talk about it, we're not necessarily for shock value, but I think it is a testament to the sort of the work that you've been doing this year with your therapy and with San Pedro.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year.
Yeah, but you have really turned a corner, and I think the main thing for you is that you've managed to gain some weight, but also gain weight in a way that you can live with, which I think has been
done it myself.
Yeah, and so it's just something I'm very proud of you for.
Thank you.
But yeah, I don't know, is there anything you want to sort of talk about that, or what's that journey? Because I suppose a good step, because we talked before about how the thing that kind of kicked off what was a decline, what was an ayahuasca session. So I guess if we sort of start from there, like, why are we bigging up psychedelics if it was ayahuasca that led to your sort of anorexia resurfacing? Because
it didn't just it wasn't just a catalyst for the most difficult relapse in my life, but it was actually the catalyst for a sincere recovery attempt, to my first one ever. And the only way to get that, to get to want to do that, because of the way that the illness is, it's just so hooked in, especially for so many years, is to be terrified beyond belief and just really understand that this is not what you want. Because when it just takes a really, really big shock to snap someone out of that mindset of not denying it or not actually wanting it. It's so weird. It's probably one of the few mental illnesses where the sufferer actually, part of them wants to be ill, and that is really fucked up, and I can't explain it, but it's just part of it. And there's not a lot that can really snap you out of that.
And I think that
has to be something really, really soul shaking, which is exactly what ayahuasca can be. But that's like a double-edged sword because you can sink or swim.
Yeah, you've got to be ready for that that soul shake, and I think that's
And it really, really did nearly break me.
Yeah, I mean,
so
yeah, it was definitely been I could, as a spectator, I could see it was a rough journey for her, and I think that's that's the thing I always try and put across to people who are wanting to try a particular something like because obviously there's this thing with, you don't want to fetishize something like ayahuasca, like as we always try to have this kind of like no bullshit approach, but there is something to just the power of that experience that is some. Yeah, it's different to LSD or mushrooms even or DMT. It pulls something out of you, out of the depths of your being.
Something that even going into it you don't want to.
You didn't.
Retrospectively, I went into ayahuasca with my little bucket list, like a noob. When you have a little bucket list, and ayahuasca says, "Fuck that, you're dealing with this." I went in thinking, this is retrospective. I wasn't conscious at the time, but, I was thinking, I want to sort this out, I want to deal with that, I want to straighten this up, straighten that. And I kind of in the background knew that I had this illness, and I was like, she can't touch that. She won't get me, she can't, nothing can.
Mm-hmm.
It was so sort of like...
Were you precious about it?
About it almost. And it's so hard to explain because at the time, if you'd asked me that, I would have said, God, no, hell no. I'm not even sick, But with the sort of consciousness that I've gained from therapy and the use of retrospect, then that's definitely what I thought. I thought, she can't touch this, and she did.
Yeah, just.
And there's nothing else that could have. I really, really, really credit the therapy that I've been doing this year. But had I just done that first, I don't think I could have got anywhere. I think the starting thing needed to be this crisis.
Yeah.
With ayahuasca. It's the only thing that could have done it for me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you find your own sort of medicines that put you back together. But I think that is one of the strengths of psychedelics, and in particular something like
that one.
ayahuasca.
I mean, all the others I found immensely useful, and San Pedro I use now as like a. I don't know,
getting off your tits.
Well, it is that, but there is some sort of like a maintenance to good, mental wellness, but as to really dig in and make the start, it had to be ayahuasca.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm being sort of flippant with the getting off your tits thing, but I've said it a bazillion times.
Are you warm? Can I open the window?
You don't open the window, and try not to let in. We're trying to have like a studio type situation here, Rach. Don't let pigeons in and shit like that.
How often do pigeons fly in?
I don't know. They might do. It's warm in here.
Still been Smoking Dmt.
Oh, why do you let open the window?
Because it's hot.
Fine. Roll your sleeves up, woman. I don't know. You stop making fashion choices. Anyway, I was waxing lyrical then. What was I saying? Something about sausages and stuff. No, fuck knows. I don't know. Let's look at some questions.
Sorry.
You derailed me, woman. Right, let's have a look. Who we got in here? So we got Pax, Hebrew Nazarite, Richard, Minty, Mike from Shaman Shed, Ryan. Alright, so lots of dudes. Hello everyone. EH, Nazarino, Frankie, Miley, Emily, James. So it's so cool because loads
of hearts there, some mushrooms.
Some of these guys have been like sort of following the channel for so long. Do you know it's nearly going to be at the end of this year? This will be the second year of this channel.
Wow, already.
It is.
How soon?
I know. It's like I said, it's like a proper thing now. We're like proper YouTubers. Anyway, let's see what the guys are saying. So lots of people here from Europe. From Jackson, thank you for responding to my question about the idea. I'll be ordering all the parts later this evening. Yeah, mate, welcome. I mean, anyone who's got any sort of questions about this solution, then feel free to sort of pop onto Discord and sort of ping me a message or onto Reddit and stuff. Yeah, all I can say is it works. It definitely works, as evidenced by my what the fucks. So got Jackson from California. Hey Jackson. From Preston, do you have any advice on how to remain sane during DMT? It is very difficult after 1 to 2 hits.
Is that talking about during experience or?
I don't know. I'm going to assume from that so that it's how to. I would interpret that as how do you see it through to get the sort of like the third hit or whatever to get you through the thing. Well, I suppose yeah. The one way to do it, Preston, is like I showed in my first sort of DMT guide, is you've really got to have somebody like coach you through it, almost make you like take the fucking pipe. You're like, it's like you're trying to stick a bottle in a kitten's mouth. And it's
someone who's taken 1 hit is quite suggestible. So obviously you need someone you really trust. You don't want some psychopath. And then I find that when I'm helping someone, they're quite suggestible. So they look like they don't know what they're doing, and you just say another one.
Yeah.
And they'll just follow what they're told, even though they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, because it's easier to comply than it is to sort of argue back like at that point. So
with this one, you don't need any of that. Just take the one.
So yeah, Preston, I think this is the kind of like the benefit of this solution is that it's kind of 1 hit and done. So if that's the way you're phrasing the question, as in how do you have the sort of resolve to stay through it, that's maybe you want to invest in one of these kind of solutions. If what you're saying is like how do you literally remain sane, I think there's probably something around the way that's been worded, because I don't think you go insane during the DMT experience. I think that's a common feeling. It's the same as the perception of feeling like you're dying. It's the same thing. I'm dying and I'm going mad. Yeah, there's the two. That's just the way your brain interprets this thing that it can't comprehend. Yeah, you're definitely coming away from your.
You're not dying. You're not going mad.
But the framework of reality is coming away, and that is. It's like it's kind of like the movie we watched last night. Watched a movie called Melancholia, and that feeling of something that is completely beyond your control happening to you, and it can sort of and so my advice on that sort of how to remain sane, I don't know, it's kind of one that you just have to sort of almost like sort of practice. I'll tell you what, actually a good bit of advice that I picked up from another channel, which was trying hard to remain calm, or trying hard not to feel anxiety, and trying hard this. And this guy said, instead of try harder, try softer. Like, don't be so, because sometimes the idea that I've got to relax, you're actually making yourself more tense. And really what the trick that you're aiming for here is just to drop all resistance. So you're faced with a kind of a crisis point of like, am I going to do this? Am I going to do this? And it's like, just let resistance drop away.
That's always the moment when I felt that I could do it. Just when there's always a slight moment when the panic dips.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as the panic dips, just take it.
That you've got that moment of courage, and it's that.
Not to say it dips to calm, just to dips where it's to bearable. Just where you think I might be able to just grab that moment, because it doesn't last.
Well, I find that just having that phrase of try softer, even when I found that useful in meditation, just because it's. I did a video on it last year on this kind of idea of surrender, and like when you think of surrender, you're thinking of like sort of giving up, and that's not what you're trying to do in these psychedelic situations. You're not trying to give up. You're just trying to stop fighting. Don't fight it. Just sort of, and I'm as bad as anybody for this because
your helper can assist you there as well, because when someone's just going into the experience, you can remind them, just say, just go into it. Yeah. And usually they look calmer if you say that. Yeah. And then after that, shut the fuck up, because you don't want to mess up the trip.
Give them the space.
But it really helps.
Mm-hmm. So I hope that helps, Preston. From Stan, is this an apology video for Puffgate? Oh, don't get me started, mate. I don't know. That's Puffgate. Yeah, I did that video on smoking Amanita muscaria. I just got loads of comments, people saying like, "Oh, you're not smoking it properly." You're like, "Oh, fuck off!" It's just some people on the internet.
It might be because of the the density of the smoke that comes out.
I think in all fairness, I think what it is that I suck my cheeks in. So I think I notice I do it. So I'll take a hit on something. I'll go,
You hold it in.
yeah, but
Next time you do it, open your mouth so they can see you. Like,
like a fucking magician. That. Yeah, it gets a bit fucking elaborate. But, from John Cook, I'm looking to go to a retreat in South America. How do you go about finding a reputable place? I wouldn't want to go in a huge group. So yeah, John, I think there's a couple of things you can do here to find a good place. One is just that it's one of those things where capitalism works. So the best rated places on things like iAdvisor or TripAdvisor will be the best. So if you can go on, there are review sites for ayahuasca centers, and yeah, if there's one that's got like 300 good reviews versus one that's got 5 good reviews, then you can usually assume that the one with the most reviews is better. Now, obviously, there's places that I've been to in South America, which like Arcana and also Another Planet, and they were like super well reviewed things, and the service and the whole experience was just top notch. So I would say for a first time in South America, go where the kind of popularity is. It's not a bad idea because you know that people have sort of walked that path before you, and you know that they're used to sort of dealing with you. We're dealing with groups of sort of tourists and stuff like that, and usually they will do the entire experience end to end, from picking you up at the airport to they'll sort out hotels for you, they'll transport you everywhere. So it's worth doing it. And I've got a
spiritual package holiday, isn't it?
Well, it's spiritual tourism, to be honest. But yeah, I've got to say Arcana's a good site. But if you're looking for one which has smaller groups, then you need to define like what your sort of the amount of people you're comfortable with. But the ones that we've been to has usually been about 20 people, 25 people. And
I find that's the average size, whether it's private or...
Well, I've been to a few where it's been smaller group sizes, but when you're on one of these retreats, I'd say 20 people's fine. The places are big enough to accommodate.
They usually have more than one shaman. 20 people, unless it's a private one.
So I hope that helps, John. But if you want, mate, you can message me and I'll send you some retreats, or check out the retreat review section on my channel, mate. There's all the places I've been are in there, or most of them anyway. From Dean, hi Rob and Rachel. After lots of research over the past year, I purchased my first DMT powder. I thought I was truly ready. I used the oil pipe you recommended and follow your tutorial. By God, wow, I didn't see the breakthrough, but even the first part of reality breakdown was overwhelming. Yeah, so that is one thing where I'm kind of glad for using the oil burner over using something like this e-mesh, because particularly when you're first starting with it, it really does let you see.
It lets you
step into what
your own time.
Yeah, because you have that first hit, and and when you talk about like the reality breakdown, we used to call that like the cosmic Lego, didn't it? It was like you would have that first hit, and it was like, and things start phasing in, and then you take the second hit, and it gets even crazier. And then if you've got real resolve and you can do that third hit, that's usually when,
It is possible to get like one hit breakthroughs from the pipe. I had one time where I just didn't know what was happening. It was just like reality split open, like it literally tore in half, and I just fell to the other side.
Yeah, I think what we found as well is that the more that we did it, the easier we found it to break through.
Yeah, it has a reverse tolerance.
Yeah. Because I remember doing one time where I was just saying, I'll just do one hit as a bit of a toe dip, and I was like,
whoops. Yeah, that was the same way I did it.
Yeah, like shit.
It was just like a little bit left over from before, and I was like, oh well, I'll just finish it. And what the fuck?
Let's see. From Fern Dog, how often do you all smoke DMT? So we did it in like seasons, didn't we?
Well, in the beginning, it was quite frequent because it's like, oh, wow, check this out. Like, we've got to explore this more. It was very frequent for maybe the first 6 months or so, and then it got to a point where like it does get kind of scarier the deeper you go, and there's a point where we're just like, I can't face it, and then we just didn't touch it then for like a year, and we started
getting into ayahuasca as well, didn't it? And that sort of replaced Because, with ayahuasca, you get a lot more space to navigate around there. So, yeah, it was kind of, the Smoke Dmt took a bit of a back burner, and it's kind of having a bit of a renaissance at the moment. But I would say, I think, it's one of those, you do it as much or as little as you. At the moment, I guess I'm doing more of it because I've been testing out this device thing. I could probably see myself maybe doing it like maybe once a week or maybe once a month or something like that. It's not something I wouldn't want to do sort of every night, because that then sort of, the kind of our keyword is this integration thing, is that you need to have time to do something with these experiences. Otherwise, it's just what's the point of it?
Yeah.
It's so yeah. I don't know. I guess I think I could see myself doing it fairly regularish. But even when we're doing things like mushrooms, we won't do it normally, say, more than once a month, would it? I think one hefty psychedelic experience every 1 or 2 months is plenty.
Yeah.
I mean,
it depends on the duration. If it's a few hours thing like mushrooms or ayahuasca, then one retreat or one mushroom sesh a month is good.
Well, that's
DMT, because it's only 10 minutes, and
and especially if it's something where you've done a retreat, because a retreat, as one retreat you might have done 4 ayahuasca ceremonies or 3 ayahuasca ceremonies in a San Pedro, so that will normally do you for 3 or 4 or 5 months, maybe even longer.
I would say a year for me.
Only a little though. So yeah, I guess the answer is it varies, mate. From Scales and Ales, that's a good name. Just found you guys a day ago and found the vape option really interesting. I work in the industry as a coil maker. We have a style of coil called a stovetop, worth a Google if your hands on. Yeah, I'll check it out, mate. Thanks for that. So we've got greetings from Finland. From Nazareno Cruz, smoked DMT versus ayahuasca. What do you think? So I've actually got a video on this in the pipeline. I did a video a while back of farmahuasca versus ayahuasca, and I've been kind of meaning to do the smoked DMT versus ayahuasca, and also at some point magic mushrooms versus ayahuasca. But do you want to have a stab at that one? I mean, I think they're fairly
apples and oranges. They're both fruits, but not the same. It depends what reason they're asking for. I mean, ayahuasca is certainly better for the sort of healing and serious work, whereas DMT can just be pure curiosity or recreation. But it can also give you awesome ideas, and it can be healing to some extent. But there's some differences there. Ayahuasca I see as more medicine. DMT is more of an interesting molecule.
Yeah, I think I'd slice it up similar. I think ayahuasca heals your soul, sort of thing, and that process can be painful. It can certainly be uncomfortable with all the puking and the shitting. And
DMT certainly opened your mind.
Yeah, but that's where I'd put the separation. I think DMT is consciousness exploding, exploring.
It makes you really, really alive.
Yeah. Whereas, ayahuasca, you can have an ayahuasca experience and not have that same kind of consciousness explosion. So I think it can be trippy as fuck, and you can feel again, things coming up from the depths of your soul, but you're not necessarily this thing of 12th dimensional other.
Not necessarily.
But obviously it can happen. Yeah, I mean, there's.
And that's the other difference between them. The feeling of it. There's a lot of similarities, but the visual is very different. There's sort of the synthetic sort of clean feeling that you get on DMT versus the earthy, very visceral feeling you get with ayahuasca.
Yeah, I mean, and the obvious ones is just that. Yeah, the ayahuasca experience is longer. It's in one sense it's easier to navigate because it
comes in waves. First at least.
Yeah, but it's smoother. It's like a smoother transition rather than the sort of blup, 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 blup of DMT. DMT is just you're just teleporting all over the fucking place, and it's.
Yeah, it's easier to remember and it's easier to interpret, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that you get a lot more. It's a bit, the meaning I think is very surfaces a lot easier with ayahuasca. Yeah. But I think they both. I mean, obviously we do them both, and it's different things for different things for different purposes, kind of thing. Here's a good question from Refund. Do you believe in an afterlife? Because we talked about this the other night.
Yes, I do. Of sorts.
Of sorts. I
Not in the typical heaven type thing or incarnation or anything like that, but some kind of constant eternity, timelessness.
Yeah.
From this perspective of this, the meat vehicles that we're in, time has this perspective of birth till death, but it isn't just that.
Yeah,
consciousness goes beyond.
And also it's the idea of, I think the human perspective is that this leads to a something else, and I'm kind of
like this is like a layer on top of something deeper. Like we got roots. This is just a flower. I'm a flower.
Yeah, maybe it's all happening at the same time, or maybe it's something sort of beyond comprehension. But I certainly don't think that when I die, Rob is going on like whatever this is.
Ghost flies up.
Yeah, the vengeful wings. But whatever this persona is, this is just for the duration of this.
Yeah.
I've certainly had that feeling through things like DMT and ayahuasca of that there is a primordial sort of consciousness above it, and there's a book I was reading by Donald Hoffman, who has this sort of theory of, I think it's called like ITP, or like something, I don't know. It's basically, I'll not go into it because I'll just end up fucking waffling. But the basic idea is that consciousness is primary. But if you're interested in that stuff, go and check out Donald Hoffman's book. It's fucking mind blowing. It's good. Okay. From Emily says, really admire your honesty, Rachel.
Thank you. Thank
Kiss,
you so
kiss,
much.
kiss, kiss. So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm here on it.
Yeah,
a little bit. Let's have a look. From Brandon, mushrooms are just as healing. I would agree, mate. We are both big fans of mushrooms, and you can see, and I've done some videos about our mushroom experiences, and
incredibly healing.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my ass kicked by mushrooms this year. I don't know if you look through some of my trip report videos, I did a couple of mushroom trips at the beginning of this year, and the first one just fucking battered me, like emotionally battered me, which was really good because it's what I needed. But for sure, I think, mushrooms,
They can be very healing, indeed.
From Minty, Rob, the video I'm extremely interested in is the one I hope you'll make: ayahuasca versus MAOI vape to DMT. So I'm gonna be doing this one, Minty, and I'm just sort of psyching myself up to do the MAOI plus DMT combination. I was planning on doing it this weekend, but then some stuff got in the way, like me. And but I've got a few days off next weekend. I'm going to take a long weekend, so I think I'll probably give it a whirl then. You'll have to probably sit me stuff, but we'll see what that's all about. From I Love Kit Kats, DMT visuals versus ayahuasca visuals.
I love Kit Kats too.
I also love Kit Kats.
I must talk about my Kit Kat trip later.
Oh yeah, you had a Kit Kat trip. But
Let's answer the question.
That sounds good. DMT visuals versus ayahuasca visuals.
Tough one. I think ayahuasca. But there's a really tough one. They're both fucking stupendous, aren't they?
DMT visuals are just like absurdly awesome, in ways beyond sort of comprehension. But ayahuasca...
DMT is a lot more orderly and kind of predictable in a way. I mean, it's not predictable at all, but I can't think of a better word to describe it.
It's beyond prediction. I mean, that's the thing.
It has more of like a motif to it, or signature also. Whereas ayahuasca can be, I don't know, it can be really extremely personal or extremely not.
Yeah.
I know this sounds so very, very vague.
Well, I think the vividness of the DMT experience,
way more vivid,
because it's almost like a fucking cartoon or a video game. It's absurdly vivid. It's just
this is like VR.
Yeah, but then the the ayahuasca visuals, like when all that kind of Shipibo stuff, it's beautiful on a soul level.
Yeah, it's
like DMT is awesome. Ayahuasca is just like
soulful.
Divine.
Yeah. That's a really good description.
Oh, thank you. I just came up with that. From Don Jizzle 615, hyperbolic geometry of the DMT experience. I just saw the Harvard video. What are your thoughts about it? Well, mate, I've got you covered. If you go and check out, I actually interviewed Andre from the Qualia Institute, who did that talk on hyperbolic geometry. So let me see if I can find that. Actually, can I post a link in here somewhere? Let me just hold on. Okay. Right, just have to bear with me a second, guys. I'll just try and find a link to this thing. It's in my playlist here somewhere. Playlist. Conversations with awesome people. Come on. Oh, I didn't want that one. I wanted.
That's an ad.
I know. I'm working on it. That one. Okay, copy that. Okay, I'll put it in the chat.
I think that's still audio's still on. It might affect the thing.
No, I've turned it off. It's good. Right, so there, I've just posted a link in the chat, guys. So yeah, I'm sort of blah blah blah. So yeah, I saw that hyperbolic geometry video and I loved it. So I thought I've got to talk to this guy. So I reached out to Andre from the Quail Institute. Lovely guy, genius. Like these guys who are doing this psychedelic research, the way their minds work is just fucking next level. Like, and some of the concepts he came up with in terms of why we see these geometric shapes and why it feels like things are happening in parallel and stuff. Yeah, awesome. So go and check out the interview I had with Andre there. He's a great guy. And I'm hoping I'm going to actually talk to him again sometime because we got on pretty well. And they've just done a load of new work. They've got this program which simulates traces. So that's really cool. So yeah, Don Jizzle, check out that link I posted in the chat. Hopefully you'll enjoy that, mate. But if it didn't post properly in the chat, just look on my channel it's called something like mapping the psychedelic experience. Conversation with the Qualia Institute. Let's have a look. I found a question from Alfred of Winchester. That's a fine English name. Question: I really want to break through on my first time. Are my expectations too high? Any advice on setting the environment? Also, are you shown things to reflect on, or are you instantly changed? Okay, so quite a few questions there. So let's try and tackle these. I want to break through on my first time. Are my expectations too high? Yes.
Yeah, I think every time you should never have the expectation. It's a treat if you get one. I mean, you can attempt for it, but don't expect it.
Yeah, it's it happens. If you do it, it will just kind of happen anyway, I think.
And particularly when we talked about, the reverse tolerance, there's a tendency for first timers or people who are new to it to find it a little bit harder to break through, but don't worry, keep at it and you'll soon get the reverse tolerance. It also helps sometimes, if you do have someone experienced to help you, particularly if you're using the oil burner method. I'm kind of known as the high priestess of that, aren't I? And I've dosed a few people for the first time and got them a breakthrough out of one hit. So yeah, but
I think just drop that pressure on yourself that it's like
it's all about
it's not all about the sort of the breakthrough. It's like when we did it, it took us like about 6 or 7 times to get.
I think it was my 4 for me.
Yeah, well, I'd done it a few times before you answer. But yeah, mate, just don't worry about getting the breakthrough on the first time. I mean, again, it doesn't matter if you get it on the first time or the 7th time. Just, again, take the pressure off yourself.
What was the last question?
Next question was, any advice on setting the environment? So I would say...
you need to be somewhere comfortable where you can lie back, ideally on a chaise or a couch or, cushions or... Yeah,
just anywhere where you can splat out. And
not sitting on a chair like this because you could just fall and hurt yourself.
Yeah.
If you do have someone with you, great, because they can remove the pipes or the equipment so you don't roll in it or whatever. If you're on your own, have somewhere that you've planned to put your equipment so that you don't burn yourself on it while you're under the influence and stuff like that. Obviously, make sure that your phone is off, so it's not beeping at you while during the trip. Your door silence is on. You know, if you've got kids or pets that are not around, whatever.
Yeah,
just
nothing
make sure
that disturbs you. Like,
nothing is going to interrupt you. Yeah.
And if you're gonna, I would definitely recommend putting some music on, and I think sort of like ambient type stuff works better.
Ecoros a little bit.
Well, I think that is ambient. You know, it's something where there's.
Ecoros are definitely the best, but they might be more for like advanced.
Oh yeah.
Because they can really intensify it a lot.
Yeah.
It might be too much.
So the last part of the question was, are you shown things to reflect on, or are you instantly changed? And it's a bit of both, isn't it? It's. I mean, you are instantly changed just because of the experience. It would be like saying, you know, if you jump out of an airplane, you are instantly changed by the oncoming planet, you know, and gravity pulling you down. You've got to very quickly adapt to that, and your brain has
the experience does instantly change you.
Yeah, but of course afterwards you do get to reflect on it.
Yeah. So it is both.
Yeah, bit of both there. So I hope that helps, Alfred. So here's was a question.
There's no more questions. I'll talk about Kit Kats.
No, there is a question.
There's not a lot to say about it.
You don't want to talk about Kit Kats. So, how's your wife getting on with the San Pedro? Can she tell us how it's helping her, please?
Oh, the San Pedro. Well, I don't know if you've seen it, but my last time I spoke about it was on one of your videos. Wasn't it?
It was about like 3 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, I think it was end of August last time.
So that was the last time you did a San Pedro retreat, and you drank San Pedro.
Retreat,
Okay.
Yeah. And it's going really well. I mean, yeah, that's part
Look at
of.
her little face. She's all healthy. She's glowing.
I have cheeks now. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's helped me a lot. It's in harmony with a lot of other stuff that I've been doing as well. But it's really good for me. Really good maintenance medicine.
Yeah, the improvement to you this year has been significant.
Yes. Yes.
So do you think? Is that like the next thing on your agenda to go and do like another San Pedro retreat, or have you done enough to make you? Are you finished though? Like how do you see the future of?
I will probably do another San Pedro retreat. In the summer again.
And I'd like to do one with you, because this is one thing we've never done San Pedro together.
No.
Because every time we've been on a retreat, either I'd done ayahuasca instead of San Pedro, or Rachel's just gone on her own and done it. So we've never done something. We've done mescaline together, but we've never done San Pedro together. So we're hopefully at some point we'll go and do a retreat just us.
Maybe you can come to my little spot.
It's always your spot. Look at
my
you.
Spot.
Let's have a look. So from Dean, Rob, Rachel, first time, did you feel like your breath was taken out of you? Yes, for sure. Yeah, and I still, I did DMT today, and I had that vivid thought of like,
don't know how to breathe.
Yeah, I don't know how to breathe, and then it's kind of like, and then it's like, oh, do I have to breathe in? Does this work automatically, or do I have to consciously?
Often that part, thank God, is fleeting.
Yeah, it's go over in a second.
Yeah, but that moment is challenging to go through. But and you can usually tell when you watch. Well, I can usually tell when I watch the video of myself, because that's when I start like hyperventilating. Like.
So the question here is from Dean again. I'm really questioning what is reality, solipsism. So I guess this sort of ties into a lot of the kind of the stuff that comes from like the Leo Guru sort of school of thought of what is reality? Am I is everything just a manifestation of my imagination? All I think, and some people get very I think it's fair to say traumatized by that sort of school of thought. I've certainly had messages from people saying that it's kind of really destabilized and that kind of thing. And my take on that whole kind of everything is imagination, so therefore the people I love are just imagination. My kids' imagination.
Existential crisis, you can't it?
Yeah. And again, I don't mean to be sort of flippant here, but I honestly don't think it matters. I don't particularly sort of care. So
whatever it is doesn't change the experience.
Yeah. So if Rachel is or isn't real, and again, and if you are questioning like what is even real, is this experience real or not? It doesn't matter. You are still having an experience, and there's not much you can do about it. It's the experience is happening anyway. Sort of try softer. Just let the experience happen, and whether I'm real or whether Rachel's real or whether my kid's real, just.
I think with a lot of these type of big questions, you know, like especially at first, like you're like, oh, is it this? Is it this? Is it what is it? What is it? What is it? And then like the peace I found that I reached was when you just think, oh, well, yeah, the beauty is not knowing actually.
Yeah.
That's the way the beauty actually. It's more beautiful than any of these ideas. It's the mystery is the biggest beauty.
Yeah, no, and I think there's a humility in that as well, because you're not necessarily meant to know like the universe, and that's
where people's heads explode.
Well, yeah, maybe. But this is part of the problem of human beings, that we're always trying to like know, like, you know, it's part of our innate curiosity to know everything. But I think if there is a job here, if there's a role to be had, it is to be a human being. So I mean, you can flip this around. Like if you imagined like a bee, like if you imagine what it's like to be a bee, like a bumblebee, that's not like, it's not what like that one there, yeah. So that's not going to be like a human being's consciousness in a bee, like thinking, oh well, I've got like 6 legs now and shit. Like you're going to have an entirely different conscious experience. And if you came across a bee who was sat there thinking about what it's like to be a human, you would be like, bee, just fucking get on with being a bee. Like, you know.
Do you dance? Do you make honey?
This is your experience. Your experience is to be a bee. So just fucking get on with it, bee. You know, and I think that's what we need to be like, is like, just get on with being a human being. This is the experience you're having. It's magical. It's, you know, you can get to stroke people and sort of have children and sort of, you know, get off your tits and do fucking stupid shit. And it's amazing. So all the other stuff, all the transcendent sort of parallel timelines, what is real, am I God, whatnot, it's going to happen, you know, it's happening anyway. Who fucking cares?
It's beautiful, it's amazing, it's awesome anyway, but we must never forget how awesome the mundane is. It's also actually
well, it's
awesome.
not mundane, is it? It's awesome. You get to stroke people. So
you just like stroking my phone.
Yeah, I do. So yeah, I that's where I kind of like so very fundamentally disagree with like the sort of the actualized solipsism thing. I don't think it gets you anything. I don't think it makes your life better or makes anything happier or gives you.
It's too final.
Yeah, and it's like.
If you're like, okay, well I'm God, well, okay.
Yeah, cool. You're still gonna have to take a shit. It's like, you know, I mean, again, that's one of the whole things with like the. It's very easy to rationalize that experience is everything. The experience that you are having now is absolutely everything. It is primary. And for anyone who disagrees with that this experience is primary, just don't take a shit, right? Yeah, just for as long as you can, try not having a shit, and you'll soon see that you really need to. At some point, you're going to really need to shit. And that will dominate your experience, and your experience will begin to suffer because of your need to have a shit. So you can see it just from that simple experience of not shitting. that this is what's most important. You want to have this experience be as pleasant as possible. So just do that. Just go and take a shit, and sort of, you know, stop trying to convince yourself that you don't need to take a shit, or that you know that you are in control of the universe and stuff. You're not. You are. You know, a piece of music floating through the sort of, you know, the orchestra of eternity. And yeah,
so in summary, no, we don't agree with that.
Yeah, we don't like solipsism. That was that one. What's let's have a look. Someone else. You want to tell us about Kit Kats, Rachel?
Well, you know, as soon as I'm a psychonaut and everything, I accidentally tried a new, I don't know if you'd call it psychedelic, but psychoactive substance. I'm sure many of you will be familiar with. The substance was DXM. I actually tried it legitimately because I had a cough. And, you know...
This is where Rachel fesses up she got off her tits on cough syrup.
Yeah. By accident, I took the correct dose, but, you know, I'm a lightweight with stuff, aren't I? And, here you can just buy DXM without anything else in it, so... It was just that, and I went lying in bed. I got rid of a cough, that was great, but I also tripped out on it big time. I think there was watched some kind of chest open up, and loads of bubbles floated downwards or something, and then there was bursting them all, and then I was nestled in this bird's nest of Kit Kats. So it wasn't the most spiritual experience ever. It wasn't like a life-changing healing experience.
Experience with a basket of Kit Kats.
But you know, it was
okay, dear. Okay,
experimentation.
You've had your moment now.
That's that one.
Okay.
That's that one checked off the list.
Cool. There's proper questions here now, so let's move on. Okay, so how would you advise a complete newbie trying mushrooms?
Take it with an experienced partner, or have an experienced sitter with you. I would say don't do it alone. Start modestly with the dose and keep your setting good. Just like we explained before, you know, no distractions, comfortable setting, you know, ideally for your first time, not outdoors. Because you always want to control that setting. You don't know how you're going to react, and you know, you want to be in your safe space, which is your home. So.
Yeah. Have you noticed after Ayahuasca DMT that your general visual imaging skills improve? I mean, when I image pictures in my head, they become so beautifully vivid. Is this just me? I've not. I definitely. One thing I did notice one time I was in Ayahuasca is that we're in the Mallorca in the middle of the night, and I had like night vision. I could see. And I don't feel like I was tripping. I was coming out of it. Yeah. But I could really distinctly, I mean, I'm guessing because my fucking pupils were like saucers, but I've had that, but I don't think I've had anything, especially not anything long term in terms of being able to visualize stuff. I'm quite bad at that when we do meditation and you have to visualize things.
I think I'm quite good at it. And in terms of the visuals from the ayahuasca, I had those kind of repeating for some time anyway. And I have a tendency for that.
So from Sangfreud, have you planned to take a larger dose of Amanita muscaria? Would be interesting to see the effect. So I've not planned as such, but I am going to at some point. So I've kind of got it on my list somewhere that I would like to do a bigger dose because I feel there was a deeper experience to be had there. When I actually get around to doing that, I'm not sure. It could probably be sometime next year now. But yeah, for sure, I'll dip into it.
I'm looking forward to trying it.
You want to try it, don't you? Yeah.
Amanita, and this vape thing.
Yeah. From Brandon Bolton, recommend ayahuasca for long embedded PTSD. Yeah, man, I've been on retreats with like sort of military veterans who've had PTSD, and they have had like miraculous recoveries using ayahuasca. So it really is, it pulls those kind of traumatic experiences out of you. It's kind of fucking, it's kind of miraculous like that. Okay, I see we're running out of time, so I'll just do a few last ones. From Stan, Rachel likes hanging out with Mr. Cloud on San Pedro. So
I do.
Let's have a look. From Jackson, Rob, would it work if I sprinkled harmine extract onto the e-mesh? It would work. I think so. Well, I'm guessing you mean in conjunction with. I mean, you're basically you're basically talking about making a kind of a synthetic kind of changa there. Changa is an MAOI plus DMT, so it is possible to smoke the two things at the same time and get the effect. But if you've already got a harmaline extract, I don't know whether you can just smoke that. But I would say just, you could take that as a capsule or something like that, and then smoke it if you wanted to go down that route. But yeah, I don't want to. I'm not 100% sure whether you can just smoke it as a straight Jack, so I don't want to give you any bad information. From Ryan, do you remember any entities that you've met? Yes, mate, vividly. Yeah, I have. I've done a few sort of trick pots on these. I'll just sort of touch on one of them, which is probably the most significant one for me, where it was some kind of entity, and I was in its like womb, and the womb was the universe, and I was like floating in this kind of universal womb, and I was just basked in like maternal love, and it was mega. It was fucking yeah, I've done pretty fucking incredible. But yeah, I think we both had our fair share of entities.
I think I spoke about mine on the last one. About how they made me cry.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Those entity experiences can be pretty beautiful. From Path Wanderer, Rob Rach, did you ever combine shrooms and MAOI? No, mate, we've never done that.
I can try and combine shrooms and MDMA.
Yeah, we've done that. Oops, it's my alarm beeping. Yeah, we've done shrooms and MDMA we've done, but not MAOIs. No, I mean shrooms are pesky enough as they are. They're really mischievous mushrooms.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. From Tiff, love you guys. Just stopped by to say hi. We love you too, Tiff.
Hi.
From Reed 1967, what the fuck are you two doing? Why haven't you invited me? Oh, it's Roxana here. Love you too.
Why haven't we invited them?
Well, we invite everyone. It's public. Everyone gets invited. Right, we'll do one last question and let's go. Let's see, last one. Well, it's more of a comment than a question. So from Brandon again, he's saying that he is a veteran. He knows the healing. I know the untangling of cognitive dissonance. I know the opening of the heart. And yeah, and I think you, again, having seen someone go through that, I cannot imagine the horror and the sort of dehumanization of being a veteran and sort of, seeing some of the things that you see. But watching someone recover from that is, honestly, it is possibly the most amazing transformation I've ever seen on like a retreat, is watching this guy, this huge military guy, who had just forgotten how to be a human being, just smiling ear to ear, and like it was on the first day he was so intimidating, and on by like day 3 he was like everyone's best mate. So yeah, I think it's so cool, that like guys from the military can have this thing of just a way of reconnecting back to be a human. I think it's so it's awesome, and I'm glad it worked for you.
Thank you for sharing.
To Brandon. Okay, so I think we did get is there a thing here? I saw there was a few super chats. So is there another one from John Cook? I want to say shout out to Kay Fletcher for doing her first DMT last night on the vape you suggested. Any recommendations for a non-smoker to take DMT properly?
Well, it's not. I don't know if you've tried, vaping, but vaping isn't like smoking. I don't particularly. I find smoking quite difficult. It's harsh. I find vapor much easier. So
this is definitely easier than the pipe thing, because again, it's one hit. There's less chance of burning it, so you don't get this as much sort of the smoke is not as harsh. So I would say if you've got the money and you and you're sort of wanting to test this out and smoking's a problem, go for this sort of vaping route, and
because then you only need one.
Yeah, it's one hit, less harsh, and yeah, that's it. And I think on that note, guys, thank you so much for all your questions and all your comments. We'd love talking to you guys, and we'll probably do another one of these somewhere between Christmas and New Year. We'll get little hats, maybe. Little Christmassy hats, little reindeer ears.
Okay, yeah, sure.
All right, we'll do all that.
Gonna do that.
So, guys, thank you so much, and we'll if anything in the meantime, you can always email me at adeptuspsychonautica@gmail.com. Come on over to our Discord and come and say hello, or do Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. I've got an Instagram. Right? Anything you want to say?
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, all right. Bye, guys.